my God. All we had to do was just like ask. Yeah, wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think about ABBA? You any thoughts?
I mean, Mamma Mia, love it. Love.
It's good. It's so good.
How do you get these filters, girl? Love them.
The filters. No, IG Live has changed my whole life. I'm honestly never doing comedy in real life again. I mean, maybe, but like this is all I've ever needed. Like throw me a bunny ear and a little bit of a contoured cheek and I'm happy at home. You know, like I'm good. Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. These are like the greatest scenes. The filters have turned out to be the best scene partners we could ever ask for. You know, like for the improvisers who have nothing to do, filters, man. IG Live filters, you'll be fine. There's tons to do.
Yes, but for children who don't understand that this is not actually what people look like, you know, that's a whole different story.
Definitely damaging, and I mean, I definitely think there's like a whole larger conversation because, like, honestly, I mean, we were talking about it earlier on a podcast, like, are the kids just going to start getting plastic surgery now? Like, is that the future? Like, it's now just like, I mean, oh, yeah, it's like what people do. It's like,
you mentioned the Kardashians and Khloe. I mean, what is it? They all got plastic surgery young. What's the youngest one?
Kylie. She's all
at like 16.
No, it's yeah. And you see, because that's how she was feeling. And she was like, I'm going to eat all these donuts and then snip it all away and have a fucking empire. And now I have like a Texas accent because he spoke.
Her message was so sad to me because it's like, she's like, the public puts this pressure on me. There's many people who just say, I love myself and I don't give a shit what other people think. Like, we look ugly all the time. Look at us being brave.
Well, yeah, but that's part of this. I always feel like the big benefit of being a comedian is like, okay, look, at the end of the day, if I just get fat as shit, it's going to be funny as hell. You know, like comedy, you don't necessarily have to be attractive. Like, it's always helpful to be pretty just because that's like life. But yeah, like, it's like we can just fucking let it all go and be funny about it, which I think is like one of our greatest strengths. Like, we don't actually have to like keep up with anything. But in general, no, the message like devastated me because the thing about Khloe is like, well, aside from the fact, and I was saying this earlier, I'm not a grammar Nazi. I'm really actually I'm ignorant. I'm a dumb bitch. But like, I hate the way it's like she puts together this like obviously she spent time on the message. Right. And then she's still like, you know, we all have the decision with what one wants to do. It's like the way she uses like one and one another in ways that it's like, nobody talks like that. And like, just because you're saying one instead of me, you still sound like just you're insecure. And like, let's not like, you know, I feel for her because I do feel like she's in sort of like a prison of her own making, because it's like, she also has this like body positivity jeans company. So it's like, she doesn't even realize she's just like wearing this all like, it's not like, oh, Chloe, wait, you're insecure. It's like, yeah, no shit. She should have just left the picture. She shouldn't. The only reason that we're talking about the picture now is because she like sued people to take the picture down. She's the one that made the big deal. I think she looks great. She's fucking almost 40 and she's had a kid. Oh my God. I hope that picture gets out of me. You know what? That could have been my Photoshop version. She's literally half the size of me right now. I'm a blimp.
I know. I gained like 20 pounds during the pandemic.
Me too. I gained 20. That's what it was.
I like literally was 5 inches from closing my jeans. I've always had moments where you're like, you can squeeze them on, but now I'm a big proponent of, I wear the stretchy jeans. Look,
yes. Oh,
they're
dude,
like,
yeah. Jeggings.
No, not jeggings. No, they're jean sweatpants.
Oh, wow.
So they're like literally, it's like,
oh my God, that's amazing.
No, because my jeans don't fit anymore.
No, my jeans don't fit. I'm just on regular sweatpants. And actually, I'm so fat that they're now like cropped sweatpants. Like I literally like can't even, and my clothes don't fit, but I'm fine with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep my sweats on for life. Like, fuck this. I'm so upset about the vaccine. Like, I actually am like, not looking forward to like re-assimilating into society because like, fuck it, get me some fucking sweatpants jeans. I'm good. Like that's it, man. How did you find those?
My friend bought them and I was like, I need them. And I literally wear them every freaking day.
No, I'm actually writing this down. Like, I'm sorry, everybody. We'll start the reading in a minute. We'll have a proper thing, but I actually need to write down. I'm going to Google when we get done with this. I'm going to Google jeans sweatpants because
when you asked me to do this, did you have any idea that you didn't know it was my birthday?
Well, but I did remember that you were an Aries. So like what I do, everyone must think I just like don't get back to them. So I kind of like collect all these comics like birth times, unless like it with like someone in real life, and then I can be like, oh, this is your shit. But I always like, I'll look it up and then I'll be like, okay, I remember, like, okay, she's an Aries. Like I remembered that I knew that Usama was an Aries, and I knew that you were an Aries. So I was like, all right, like it's an Aries new moon. I like, let me go into my troves. Yeah, and also happy birthday, so very exciting. And you know, this birthday is a very fated birthday. What is that?
Week. Aries get a week. We get a full week.
A humble Aries. It's so nice to come across a humble Aries. Well, I know a lot of Aries that would say a month.
A month, but like I give it a week, you know.
So before we get started, I do feel like there's like sort of like an alarming. My 2 girlfriends are causing me to lose my mind. Jesus, please save my soul. You know, I don't know. I know that Kate has like maybe a more direct line to Jesus than I do, but like we'll definitely put that note up to Jay right now. Like, hey man, if you could say, what's your name, Roberto? If we could say Roberto's soul, he has 2 girlfriends that are giving him hell right now, and like if you could just fucking dial it down for Roberto, that would be huge for us.
On the main line. Can you put me through? Okay. Yes. We need some help for Roberto. Okay. He said he's on that, Roberto. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So miracle working already. I'm just trying to hide my air filter or my trash that's behind me. LOL. I'm really excited that you're doing the Moon Wheel though. And this birthday, so I have your natal chart up, and then I also have the year ahead chart to kind of give you like it's a solar return chart. So it's like what to expect in the year to come. Oh my God, beautiful! Are those birthday flowers?
No, but I'm buying myself birthday flowers for myself because I want to just fill my apartment with flowers because I live alone, and it's like, and they smell so good.
No, I love flowers. I will overdraft on flowers if I need to. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I love that. Well, I mean, it's interesting because I'll read your chart. We can look at the year ahead. You can ask any questions. We can talk about whatever you do or don't want to, interrupt me at any time. But what I will say, just before we even get into your reading, to make this a little bit about me, even though none of you people know who I am, but it's okay. Kate, you and I, when I pulled your chart, I was like, oh, because, okay, so your rising sign, so like your costume, your front, is basically directly on my sun. And your sun is like directly on my north node, like the purpose of my iteration. And our moons are the same.
Capricorn?
Capricorn. We're Capricorn moons. So we're like low-key. What'd you say?
Are we like grounded, earthy people?
Well, the chart's more dynamic than that. So I would say like on an inner level, we're sort of like grounded and sturdy, but like you don't have like that much Capricorn in your chart. And your north node and your Mars are in Taurus. So you're going to get a whole lot earthier actually. Like if you really do your work in this life, you're actually going to get even more like based and sort of stable and luxurious, and like that really is what's coming for you. But you have a lot of Aries in your chart. I mean,
no, I'm very Aries. It's like, and the
very Aries,
like it's a lot. I know.
Yeah, because it's like you're a 29-degree Cancer rising, so you're kind of wearing like a little like kind of like like a little Cancer kind of like, no, you see, I'm really like warm and loving, but then like really fast you're like, and now it's my turn. You know what I think about your chart? I'm really into like past life. I like to just like.
People have always said that you're nice, and I'm like, I will fucking strangle you. I will like snap your neck in a second. Like I'm ruthless.
You're sort of wearing you're kind of wearing this like final layer of like Cancer, like where you're like, no, like it's like sort of just like your face is sweet. You kind of appear to be very nurturing and maternal, but it's all just to get you in the door, and then you're like, here's a piece of my mind. Do you know what I think? I feel like the past life story of this chart, I feel like you were like, you're an old soul, Kate. Like you're an old soul, but I feel like you like, it's like, and we'll get more into it, but it's like, I feel like you came back, like, it's like you were like, maybe like a woman in the past life or from a past life, but you kind of were like relegated to the home, and you were kind of like you were basically like silenced. And so I think you came back in this life to be like, no fucking way. Like, I literally think you're back with a vengeance. Like, this is not your first time here, but you're back to be like, yo, let me give you a piece of my mind. Let me give you a piece of my mind. Like, you're here to fight a little bit.
I'm a big fighter. I like fighting is my love language. And I know that that's not a real love language, but like it's my favorite.
Dude, it is a real love language. From Capricorn moon to Capricorn moon. You know, I feel like the thing about Capricorn energy is that, like, you know, your moon sign represents like your innermost self. It's like what's really going on inside. And Capricorn moons, like, kind of are all business. And it's like sort of hard to, like, I'm a Cancer sun with a Leo. So I'm a late degree Cancer sun, Leo Mercury. So like, I'm very like loving and nurturing, and like, you'll see the moon, you'll come tomorrow. It's like very fun. It's like lots of people sharing their whatever. It's like a very nurturing space. But really at the end of the day, I'm like leveraging all the talented people in my life to like turn it over. Like, I don't give a fuck about teaching you all. Like, just come to my thing so I can make money.
I had a moment with this really sweet girl. And so it was this guy I've been dating. And I was like, we're done. We're totally done. And I was like, you know what? I've got to break up with him. And it was on New Year's Eve. I was being really dramatic. And I was like, you know what? Like, this relationship's over. But like, and she was like, I was like, you know, we should still collaborate. Cause I thought she was a really talented actor. She's like doing this fancy acting MFA program. And I was like, I would love to make something with you. And she goes, but we could also just be friends. And I go, no, I don't have time. I still think of this. I was like, no, I don't need friends. I don't have time, but I want to make something with you.
Sweet.
And
you're like reading my soul right now. I feel so bad because like people will like, cause I'm a coach, I'm an astrologer. So like no, like I was saying to someone the other day, I'm like, I don't really do friends. And they're like, what do you mean? You seem like you have so many friends. I'm like, I have healthy, like if we're not working on something, I have no interest in, like, I'm either working or fucking or smoking pot, and that's like it.
And I'm booked. I'm so full. I'm like turning things down, but it's like, that's literally, and I remember looking at her face and being like, that's not the right thing that a normal person would have said. You know, it would have been like, oh, and I'm like, I don't hang out with people. I hang out if we're like making something, we're working on something, we're doing a podcast, and that's my favorite time to like when I was really young, I had this idea to make art with friends. Like I used to make a newspaper with my friends and sell it to teachers. We'd like,
that's so cool.
Profits, and like fired all of my friends, you know, like that's how I had fun. That was fun for me, right? It's that's
that's the Capricorn moon. Capricorn moons are here for business. Capricorn moons are here to like work and build, and like really are not comfortable unless we've achieved like a certain level of status or a certain financial, but even then, like, it's like never enough. It's actually just like, we're here to work. Like, you are here to work, and your sun, not only are you, your sun is in Aries, but it's directly on your midheaven in your 10th house. So like, that's a Capricorn house. Like you have like, that's where it's like, you're not necessarily grounded as much as like, you're here to like work. You're here to like speak your mind. You're here to like, I feel like literally like in a past life, you must have been like a servant or something, or like a cage. Like you were,
I've always had, this is crazy of me, and I don't know if I'm going to get canceled. And I love Asian culture, and I believe anti-Asian like hate, but I believe in a past life. This is so crazy, but I used to be a concubine.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think that's what I'm saying.
Felt that. And I lived in China, and I had this really strong feeling that I would like had been there and in a past life. And I was a concubine who like who was like slowly working her way up, but I didn't get to be like empress. I was like working my way up from this, like, you know, and then I died.
Wait, that's like in your chart. Like, that's like that's like the first thing I noticed, where I'm like, okay, what's this person's like soul story? And it's like, no, you're back to actually like finish. Like you're here to like be like, no, I put that time in, and now I'm going to actually like be the empress with power. And I'm going to like, no, I think I want to be clear. We are one. And I am not my soul journey is not just the Jews. Okay. Let me be clear. Like I got all, and I tell people all the time, like at the moon, I'll always have these like, and maybe we'll figure out like specifically which one, but I've had really good luck being like, I think this is who you were in a past life. And then we'll like look it up, and the charts will like somehow align perfectly. And I'll be like, but all this to say that, like, you know, George Washington is not a white man, you know. And I told a fabulous, the Blackbird, two IG lives ago, June, who will be singing an original song at the Renewal this Sunday. Everybody join us. But like I said, I'm pretty sure you were Joseph Smith, you know, the founder of the Mormon Church. So, you know, I don't think that race or ethnicity has any bearing on, like, you know, past or future. Like, I think on a soul level, we're all one. We go up there, we intermingle, and then we come back down in a different body to have a different experience, like, you know, with what we've learned or haven't learned. I told Remy she was Hitler.
Be like a stray dog.
100%. I mean, yeah, I've definitely seen people where I've been like, were you a parakeet? And it's like, nobody wants to hear that. But if it's what it is, it's what it is. You know, if you're repeating everything I say, wait, a little high voice, you're a fucking parakeet. You know, like let's get out of that habit. Like, give me a fucking break, you know. Don't tell my mom fuck you when she walks in. Know better, you know. But well, hello, everybody. So yeah, Kate, like I just want to say, like in terms of your chart, I feel that you are back with a vengeance, and you are back to like take your rightful throne, and you're back to like share your rightful voice. And like you were, yeah, I think you were like heavily suppressed in a way that like I think you were like specifically silenced, and I think you were like sort of pent up, and like this in this life. That's why I think that 29-degree Cancer rising is kind of you almost in some way like holding on to your femininity, because a lot of this chart, like you have a very masculine chart actually. Like this is a fire chart. Like you are, yeah, like you I mean, look, you got fashion jean sweats on. If that's not a man, you know what I mean? That's fucking man ass shit right there.
Tomboy growing up too. Like I like dressed like a boy. I had the Jonathan Taylor Thomas haircut that was kind of like a long bob, but it, you know, I really wore like what others wore. It was very.
No, you're very much a tomboy. You are really here to like I almost feel like the one thing you got out of your life as a concubine is you were like, okay, I do know that like beautiful women
get things.
So you were like, okay, I'm not going to be a Leo rising. I'm going to be a 29-degree Cancer rising, because you really are. You're like.
I'm not a Leo.
No, you're a Cancer rising.
I didn't know that.
Well, let me see if I got this right. I think you're a Cancer rising, and then it switches you're a 29-degree Cancer rising. Your whole first house is in Leo, but your rising is so let me make sure this right though. The 11th of April.
Don't say my birth year. We'll never talk again.
Would never. I already know, but I know what year it is. 12:14 p.m.
Yes.
You're a Cancer rising.
What?
You're a 29-degree Cancer rising. You're not a Leo rising. And it's like, because even physically you're not really a Leo rising, but like your personality is all Leo. But it's like you're wearing you're wearing that final layer of femininity. That's why I saw this. I'm like, oh, she's like in costume as a woman. Like
that's literally how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm putting literally anytime I put on makeup or do anything feminine, I'm like, this is me putting on drag. I'm like, this is the performancivity of me being a woman. Like I'm putting on this cute little dress, and yeah, I literally think so. Yeah, you're a 29-degree Cancer rising. That means that like, so the rising is like your costume, and then your first house is I'm like reading the comments. This doesn't sound, I mean, the sound, like if the sound is bad, I'll take my headphones off. But if it doesn't sound good, no, it's all good. Charts are all good. But it's like, so you're rising at 29 degrees. You're actually like, it's almost like you've almost maxed out on femininity and you're over it. But your soul was like, yo, swoop in and just be beautiful, and let people think before you speak, before you actually share anything. Let people just immediately feel like, because you do, when you don't know you have a very, I mean, and when you know you, and also we don't know each other that well anyway, so like, what am I saying? But it's like, you're like, the impression that you give without really like researching or like digging in is just that you're just like stunning. You're so beautiful. You have this really warm, like your cheeks, your lips, like even if you didn't put lipstick on, you would be the prettiest in every room. I cannot even imagine you not being the prettiest in every room that you're in. Ever. Oh my God. Like, where have you been all my life? Like, this is so insane. This is so crazy. You're so nice. No, but I've always felt like my insides don't, like, people underestimate me because I'm a small little blonde woman from the South. And, you know, I could correct my Southern accent, but there's like some things I can't make myself taller. I can't make myself, you know, I made myself 20 pounds heavier because of the pandemic, but, you know, it's like, I've always felt like underestimated. And I think because of that, like, I don't know. Yeah. My presence, I feel like people always think I'm taller than I am too.
Yeah. Right. Like you have sort of a very like maternal, sweet sort of, like caretaking vibe. And then like, yeah, you hear a few of your jokes or you hang out or you see what you're posting and you're like, oh, this woman's like out for fucking blood. And like, but it's like, if you were more of a Leo rising, you wouldn't be as, I don't think you'd be as approachable as you are. Like, I actually think that on a soul level, this little Southern feminine package is specifically chosen because you're like, you kind of, especially if you were like an old Chinese concubine, like you are like, you're not trying to be a man either. You also fucking, you know, you fucking hate men too. Like, it's like, you're like not really interested even in gender at all that much, but you're like, okay, if I'm going to come in pretty, come in little, come in sweet, come in Southern, come in Texas, you know, because for you, like, it's almost like from a past life, you had like shit you were going to do and then you didn't get to do it. So you have like a stockpile, like you want the chance to be underestimated so that you can actually show them. You have like, you died and came back just to fucking show them. So you don't want to pick a body where people assume everything about you, because then it would be kind of boring. Then you just have to live up to that. But I think that I do think that part of your, like, the fight in you is like, no, I think it's like a past life. Like, you came back to be like, no, I will give you a piece of my mind. And it's like, everyone like, Kate, chill, you're fucking 5. There's nothing really going on, you know, like, so I feel like you do, like, your Mercury, your Venus, your midheaven, your sun, and your asteroid Lilith. Do you know about asteroid Lilith? Well, this is very important.
Co-star told me I was a Leo rising.
That's why co-star's bullshit. Co-star is bullshit. Everyone needs to know this. Co-star is not made by astrologers. And seeing your chart in that little square is so like counterproductive to actually teaching people astrology, because it's not the whole thing. Like astrology, the beauty of it is that it's completely non-linear. So like you can see how time is tracked through the chart in a cyclical way. But like, no, I actually find co-star to be like way off. Also, I'm pretty sure I don't think they're doing like, I need to double check. Last time I checked, I actually put my information into co-star at one point when I downloaded it, and I was like, I don't think this is right. I think everyone's getting super misinformed. For the most part, like, unless like for you, like if you were born the day before, or no, not even the day before. If you were born like an hour later or earlier, you'd be squarely in the middle of either Cancer or Leo. And then like, to the degree, you know, if anyone's using co-star, they're not really doing astrology, so it doesn't really matter what exactly the degrees are. But when you plug in your chart, like for the actual, like Orange, Texas, you are not even co-star, like even like rounding up, it's like, no, you're not a Leo rising. You're a 29-degree Cancer rising, which is like the oldest mother in the world. It's like what is that?
And one of my best friends is a Cancer.
Oh, and yeah, I think you probably get along. I'm a Cancer. I think you probably do get along with Cancers fairly well.
Well, it's just funny because she's like the only one that I'm really close with, but like we talk for hours, and I've always thought that's so weird because I have no Cancer.
Oh, you do. You're a Cancer rising, and you're actually like the most advanced Cancer.
Here.
Yeah, you're a 29-degree Cancer rising. And then like, so when you look at a circular chart, it looks like a pizza pie, right? And that first slice is like your identity, your personality, like how you see yourself, how you greet the world. So you are a Leo, like your whole first house is in Leo. But I think part of it is like, okay, so you have a 29-degree Cancer rising. That means when you go backwards in the chart, so like the 12th house, which is your deep unconscious, your whole 12th house is in Cancer. So you are a little bit out of touch with that sort of like mommy, that like sort of like that mommy feminine energy. Even though you can play the part and you kind of look it, you're really not. And it's almost like that's like kind of, it was like, you know, it was right above you when you were born. Like the, you know, 29-degree on the eastern horizon was when you were born. So then it's kind of like above your head, all the like really feminine mommy Cancer stuff. But it also kind of is like, it creeps into your subconscious because, you know, also astrology is all about like duality, and it's all about opposites. So because you are a Capricorn moon, it's almost like any really feminine Cancerian part of you, aside from just like your pretty face and you're like your buxom looks and just like you do appear highly feminine, you know? Yeah, great titties. And it's like, that's what we're here for. You know, if she's making jeans fashion, she's a fucking Cancer rising, okay? Or sweatpants jeans fashion. But it's like, I feel like what's really happening is like you're having like ancient memories of your life as like a sort of subordinate feminine, as a suppressed feminine, and that is like highly driving in the 6th house. You have a moon in the 6th house in Capricorn, which means that on the day-to-day basis, yeah, you got your fucking pen and paper out. You're all business, and you need routines. You need structure. You need a daily plan. You need daily activities that make sense for the overall business, for the task at hand. You are like mission driven, like mission. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna blow your mind here, because Lilith is actually biblical, and Lilith is exactly conjunct your sun. And so you don't even know, but I'm about to introduce you to like a whole new layer of yourself that I think you're going to be really pleased to hear. Okay. So Lilith, I don't know if you heard of Adam, Adam and Eve Bible. So apparently Eve was Adam's second wife.
Mm-hmm.
Adam was made with an equal Lilith. They were in the Garden of Eden. They were, having a fine time, I guess. But when she started to get, someone talking about terminal illness, I just feel like I need to, okay, sure, yeah, you will support, but yeah. Anyway, we're so sorry for your aunt.
Back to me. No, I'm kidding.
Right. But that's, but it's like, so Lilith was Adam's first wife. Lilith was a badass bitch. She was a complete and total equal. But after they started, fucking and kind of hanging out, she was like, hey, do you think it'd be okay if like I actually fucked on top or whatever? No, you cannot plug it just yet. Are you kidding me? Why don't you just wait until we're not having this conversation? This is a bad look, P. Walsh. You're going to have to message us afterwards. I'm trying to fucking tell her a biblical story about her identity right now, okay? LOL. So it's like getting a heckler on IG Live. Like we have an IG Live, but it's a benevolent heckler. But we have a benevolent heckler. LOL.
From other stuff. Sorry, I'm just saying hi to people.
Oh, that's okay. For your sound like keeps going a little bit in and out. But see, you did it again. That's okay.
Did. Okay.
I forgive you, people.
How I have my phone, maybe.
Oh, it's on like the bottom. I know. When I talk to people it doesn't matter. We'll make it work.
I'm listening to you.
So the bottom line is Lilith basically confronted her man Adam one day. It was just the two of them in the Garden of Eden, pretty nice life. And she was like, I actually have like a very different anatomy than you. And it would be helpful if I could like fuck on top and I would also like to come, right? And he was like,
This is biblical.
It's Bible shit. Well, it's Jewish Bible, but it's, mythology, Jewish mythology.
Got it.
So Adam was like, the fuck? No, I have a penis, therefore I fuck you on your back when I say so, and she was like, and now later the Christians and a lot of Christian mythology demonized Lilith. They said that she got banished from the Garden of Eden because she was too big for her britches and demanding too much. In the Jewish mythology, the folklore of it, and I have Lilith on my rising, so I feel very connected to this story. She was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. So she actually left the Garden of Eden. Then they made Eve out of Adam's rib, thus kind of beginning the patriarchy and kind of starting this whole idea that which is very prominent in a lot of different sort of Protestant, texts or whatever, which is that there's God and then there's man and then there's the umbrella and then it's women and kids. And that is actually because Eve, in the original mythology, Adam had an equal, and the truth is he couldn't adjust. He wasn't flexible. He couldn't handle it. And so Lilith was like, fuck you, fuck this, I'm out. She left. Then they demonized her. They said that she was taking babies and eating them in the night. They said that she was a reckless whore or a night walker, whatever. Really, she's just been kind of lurking underground, getting all she's basically the original feminist, right? And when you look at a lot of old school feminist charts, or where you look at a lot of really prominent women and you look at where Lilith is in their chart, they usually have a very prominent Lilith because they're actually here kind of bringing back the rage of it's not even rage, it's sort of because it could go both ways, but it's a very feminist emblem because it's no, I demand equality, I have my own back when it comes to pleasure, I don't fucking need you. It's a very fuck the system energy. And for 9 months of 2020, Lilith returned to Aries and moved through the sign of Aries with Mars and with Chiron, the wound. And now Lilith is in Taurus, but basically mid 2020 until I think it was September, October, Lilith was basically being reborn in all of our charts. And in, you know, for everybody, there was this like kind of awakening of this outraged, feminine, powerful, erotic presence, right? But for you specifically, first of all, you're an Aries and you have Lilith. You're a 21 degree sun. Lilith is at 24 degrees. So you are literally here. You're like representing Lilith. Like you are Lilith. And you do have that big time first wife, pissed off first wife energy, right? And demanding equality, not staying in a situation that's not really right for her, doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks, even though everybody thinks something. It's fucking God and they're going to fucking replace you. But like Lilith is like, fuck you, fuck that. I'm doing my own thing. I'm out, right? You're Lilith. And so the past, like the second half of 2020 into the beginning of this year was really like a full on feminine healing, a Lilith healing, where Lilith was actually with Mars, the sort of masculine planet, and the you know, that masculine energy, and Chiron, that old wound, really doing a huge amount of healing for the collective while we were all kind of like home and kind of feeling ourselves and feeling into what was really going on with us, or what, you know, really kind of being with who we are alone. And everybody's Lilith was sort of reborn. And so you could look at the area of Aries in your chart and you could say, okay, you had sort of an awakening, a feminine awakening. You want equality more than ever in that area. But for you in your chart, it is like, it's your identity and it's your career. Your sun is, you're going to be so successful. Okay. Your sun is like directly on your midheaven. Your legacy, like people are going to know your name. They're going to remember you. No, you're like famous. Like I'm telling you right now, you are famous.
Yes, Nash is here for this.
Nash, Lilith, she is Adam's first wife.
I am real. You know that I was married and divorced, and my husband left me and is still with the person that he's with now.
Yeah, because she's a fucking whack ass Eve.
She's literally like kind of famous. She's like on all these TV shows, and I wish her well. I wish him well. But it's like, I'm kind of like, oh shit. But I've never even heard of Lilith, you know? So it's like, I'm gonna send you some reading. I'm gonna send you some. What is that? Why it's called Lilith Fair? Is like,
yeah, yes.
Interesting.
That is why it's called Lilith Fair, because she's like the actual original feminist icon. Like she was like, fuck the system. Even if it's just two of us, I know when I'm not being treated equally and when my feelings aren't being honored and when this whole thing was not built for me. So see ya. And she peaced out. And that Lilith energy is you. I mean, without even seeing your chart, I'd be like, I wonder where her Lilith is, because you do possess a real like and you do a lot of this work, but like you really possess like activist energy. Like you are here. That's what I'm saying. Like when I started charting, I was like, oh, she's here with like, you're here to fight. You're here to actually be the other part of the conversation that you didn't even get a chance to share last time, but you've been fucking stewing under this for this whole time.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, because I
never taught me about Lilith.
Well, I'm sure that, I mean, the Christians, they try to just write her out of history. And if you do find any information about her from like that perspective, from like a Christian folklore perspective, it's like she's the scariest demon that ever walked the planet. It's like she just wanted to fucking come. She just wanted you to touch her clit. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, we would have stayed. I would have stayed. But like, you have to touch my fucking pussy.
The bar is
not much.
Yeah.
Like, the bar is like so fucking low. It's like, oh my God, like, can we expect any man to just care? And it's like Lilith is back to be like, I don't even care if you care. I care. And so I'm going to live my life in a way that expresses that care and expresses my righteous ability to say, I get what I want. I do what I want. I come when I want. I wear jeans that are sweatpants. I don't give a fuck about your fucking rego ass jeans. I'm not into the culture anymore. Like, I'm making my own thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you're like a real, and like the other cool thing too is like your chart, you know, your south node. So like, do you know about the nodes? Are you familiar with the nodes?
No. Does it say I'm materialistic? There's some things that I like want you, like the fact that you said I'm getting more towards earthy. Like, I feel like I've been really shallow in previous parts of my life, a little too like materialistic, a little too, what am I trying to say? I don't know. Like,
I actually think that's your purpose.
To be materialistic.
Let's rephrase it. Let's reframe the conversation, okay? No, being materialistic is not the goal, okay? But I think you're here to.
No, my goal is my purpose is to be materialistic, and that's it. This has been a great.
Because right, well, here's the thing though. One of the things that really drives you is luxury and comfort and food and all the tourists. And so you are going to become earthier, but not by way of needing less. It's more that like you're going to start like your North Node and your Mars. So the nodes are like these state points in the chart. Okay. So your North Node represents like where you're meant to be headed in this lifetime. The South Node is like where you're coming from, what you remember, what you could like ride out on if you do like no growing, no healing. So like, for example, your South Node is in Scorpio in the 4th house. If you just like stayed in Texas and like, you know, kind of lived in like the swamplands in like a place that you don't really fit in, but like could fucking just scream and yell at the baristas there or whatever, you'd probably be fine.
I waited tables there. I would never get to scream at people. I was waiting tables in the swamp.
That was not good. Oh, well, of course. I mean, it's where you're from, you know, but your purpose really was to like, not only get out of the world that you didn't fit into and specifically leave home. 4th house is home. You're supposed to leave that society, that environment that actually wasn't really in alignment with you, especially because now we know you're Lilith. You're like, oh, actually, this is not my garden. Like, I'll make my own Eden, bye, right? So, but then your North Node is always the exact opposite of your South Node. So your South Node is in Scorpio. Your North Node is in Taurus. What is Taurus? Money. Taurus is values. It's stability. So when I say earthy, I don't necessarily mean like granola. I mean like comfortable. And because you're so comfortable, you might actually, you know, not that you're never, I mean, you are a hothead Aries with a lot of Leo, like your whole 1st house in Leo, like.
Financially comfortable.
What? I
am not financially comfortable.
No, because it's your North Node, but you're meant to become financially comfortable. You are meant to. That's what I'm saying. When I look at your chart, like this is a money chart. Like this is a chart. You're really here to like, but I think part of that is like kind of like to the point of like working. It's like you're only going to really enjoy all that money, and you're only going to really enjoy, because otherwise you're going to be saying to yourself, I'm just materialistic, or like, oh, I think about the wrong things or whatever. No, I think you need to feel specifically like rewarded for your work. So that's part of it. Like you're like, okay, I'm here to work. I don't want to make friends. I'm not here to just like fucking fuck around and be cute. I'm here to work because I also like, and I'm going to get my payday and not feel fucking bad about it. Like you're going to be like, no, yeah. Like, it's like when you hear about people who like, you know, it's like, there's such a difference between how we look at people who have like a ton of money, who are like, they don't have to, like, we're pissed at Kylie. We're like, Kylie wasn't a self-made billionaire. She came from a lot of money, right? Versus like, you know, we think about people that are like, you know, stupid rich now, but because they like Serena Williams deserves all the fucking money in the world. She's the greatest athlete of all. You know, I don't know why I thought of Serena first, but it's like we're okay with people having money and being successful if they actually like stood for something or did something that was actually like, I think you're a huge value add to our culture in everything that you do. And I think that like, whether it's through filmmaking or screenwriting or comedy or activism, everything that you're doing is all about like actually fighting for the values that you stand for the values that you believe in, and also getting paid for it, and like creating value by fighting for values. That's like the whole thing. I would call this like Lilith's big payday would be like the vibe of your chart. And right now, the planet Uranus coming. So Uranus is right, it's sort of like inching towards your North Node and your Mars. So I think like in the next few years, there could be something, okay, let me say, I think you're gearing up. And I hate to say this because then it's going to be like, I think you're gearing up specifically for like a big break. And I think 2020 was a year where you were kind of like, it's like while we were all home, Lilith and Mars and Chiron were all working in the sky right on top of your on top of your Mars, on top of your Mercury, on top of your Venus, on top of your Sun, on top of your career, going like, okay, she's done enough work. She's been through it. Like, let's fucking now empower this bitch to really take off. And now it's sort of out of your hands. Like, you can keep showing up and being you And the only thing you really need to do is like speak loudly and proudly about everything you value, about what you think is right, about what you think is wrong. Get in all the fights you can because you are a Lilith righteous bitch and you are always right. And we do need to hear your voice. And the fact that you're pretty and little and that people are underestimating you is only better. So much cooler. God forbid you were just some like old white guy, you know, we would be like, shut up, you're canceled. Or if you were someone else that didn't have, you can go fight for people now because you actually do. Blonde women are so powerful. A little blonde woman that you overestimate, that is the most dangerous bitch in the world. Are you kidding me? Like, you came back as an assassin and you're like, I will fucking get in the door and I'll fucking blow your fucking heads off, right? Like, so you like are using this like pretty sort of 29-degree Cancer rising, and then you have, you know, your South Node in Scorpio, so you're all too aware of the darkness, and you're all too aware of actually like the underside of life, and you are here to fucking right the wrongs. Like, Lilith is back, and she's here to actually like literally, if she could go back to the Garden of Eden, get Adam out of there and renovate, she might help homelessness. She might move a lot of people in there, and it'll be really fun, and she would like come all the time because it was her rules.
I love that.
Yeah, the only thing you really need to do is just never shut up about everything that you believe that you're right about and ride it out till the end of time, expressed in all the different mediums that you can, because you're just like happen to be Capricorn moons. You know, we don't even like to say this out loud because we don't want to ever seem to say, but like we're very talented. Capricorn moons are very talented. We're sort of like old. Like I kind of think Capricorn moons on some level we're like old, like vaudeville. Like, it's like we just are like jam-packed with like ambition and talent, and like kind of we don't know why, like it's very born to us. But then usually Capricorn moons have like a little bit of a chip on our shoulder too, because we don't understand why we're not famous yet. Like, why, like, yes. What more do I have to do? What more do I have to do to like stand out or whatever? And now it's starting to make sense because we're seeing that, like, oh, like, thank God we didn't make it in Hollywood yet. They're all fucking pedophiles, you know? Like, actually, that's crazy. Not our scene. It's not.
Have you been reading about Scott Rudin?
What about Scott? No. Okay, Googling. Wait, tell me.
It's just crazy. Like, he like smashed somebody's hand, a computer on somebody's hand, and broke their, like, the computer busted through their hand. They had to go to the emergency room. And then he paid that person off and gave them like 3 assistant producer credits. And, you know, he's like this prolific. He didn't sexually assault anyone. He's just like violent, volatile, and angry. Just, you know, he just like is like verbally and physically abusive.
He's like one of the biggest producers of all time.
All times. I know. And I'm listening to the Mike Nichols biography right now. And he talks about, like, you know, he started in casting. Scott Rudin was a good friend of his. And like, it's just great. I mean, it's so toxic. Hollywood is so toxic. And I know I keep reminding myself, because I feel like a little late to the game. I feel, you know, all of my peers in comedy are like 10 years younger than me.
I know. We're the same age, by the way. We don't have to disclose it, but we're the same age. So I feel you on every level.
And so I just tell people I'm 27. And and that's how old I am. But it's like, I know that things happen when they're supposed to happen. And I've lived so many lives already, you know, like I was married, everything you said, like I was married to somebody with a shit ton of money, and I didn't have to worry about money, and I hated it. It was awful because I felt, I mean, I loved it. I really fucking miss it. But it's like, I do want to earn money for myself.
We could use a spa day, but because we deserve it.
Because we fucking deserve it. But it's like, and I live above all of these, like cheap massage places that I really want to go to. And I might, but it's like, you know, I'm fucking doing survival jobs right now, and it's not what my dream is, but I still have this dream of doing like an off-Broadway show, an off-Broadway solo show that's like funny and monologues and serious and dramatic and real, and I have a producer, and it's like something that I thought was gone in 2020, and I kind of didn't work on it, and now it's like steamrolling again, and it's like things are happening and could happen as soon as the end of this year. I'm doing a meeting and a run show and in like only a couple of weeks with the producer and the theater owner of Soho Playhouse. So it's like, and I had kind of given up this dream because I was like, well, I don't know what happened to that producer. Theater's probably never coming back because the year was so crazy. And it's like, I do kind of feel like things are aligning, and I feel this like, then I'm like, can I do it? Is what I'm doubting what I'm saying is like even important, you know?
Well, let me tell you 100%, but okay. So Lilith in the sky right now. So Lilith has now moved out of Aries, and she's in Taurus, and she's like she's literally right on top of your North Node and your Mars right now, which, and for everybody, like when Lilith moved into Taurus, like I did like an IG live thing that I'm sure nobody watched, but I did a whole thing that was like, well, now that Lilith is in Taurus, it's basically like, so when Lilith was in Aries for 9 months of 2020, she was kind of going through this like higher level conversation with like the powers that be, with the masculine energy, with the wounded feminine energy, and going, okay, look, we gotta like, you know, we gotta be strong, we gotta like pick our battles, but we also need to just like let me lead, like just let me lead, you know. So it might have seemed like for a while that like life was canceled or that like it wasn't going to work out, but it was really just because like there was heavenly conversations happening that you were just not really, you're as a human, you're down here in the little avatar doing the Matrix, whatever. But in the heavens there was something going on, right? Now when Lilith moved into Taurus, it was basically like sort of a wake up call for the, you know, Taurus is finances. Taurus is like value and values and structures, and it's like the foundation of the home, right? Which like we all need money, everybody needs money, right? So now that Lilith is on your North Node and your Mars, here's what I think. If you were my client, like if we weren't just doing IG Live reading, but if I was working with you, what I would say is, when you think about this, I think that you're going to have a huge year. I think you're going to have a great year financially. Like I think that there's going to be a huge shift in like your level of abundance and just like recognition, and a lot of things that you feel like you've like past due, been owed, like is it over, did I miss it, it's gonna be like, nah bitch. Like, and I do think it's also interesting because in terms of like, you know, I don't know how I know that you like are a practicing Christian, like you are a faithful person. And you know what's funny? I actually you posted something once about the church that you went to. I follow that church now. I'm talking about I don't know, the fire that was so horrible to see, but I like
joined a church and it burned down.
Yeah, but I love that church. I like followed it right away. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm obviously fucking Jewish, but like I'm just into, I love faith. Like I love culture, and
Me too.
I'm not like, yeah, I just love, I think religion.
I actually believe all religions are trying to teach you the same thing, even 100%. Astrology, even tarot. It's like they're trying to teach you, they're trying to point to the truth of humanity. And that's why I like my church, is that we actually have interfaith play dates with our Jewish friends and our Muslim friends. And we don't believe in proselytizing, which was a huge part of my Christianity growing up. And it's like, that means converting. I don't need anyone to convert to Christianity because I respect their religions. And I have jokes about this, but it's like, that's my culture. I grew up Christian. That's what I know, even though they didn't teach me about Lilith.
Well, now that's why we do interfaith IG Live mingling, because I'm like, yo, let me tell you about the first wife you actually are. But it's like, I looked at you, because you posted some like music or something, and I love like choir music. And I love like, so even like first of all, I don't date Jews. I always date. So I've been going to churches for many
That's
things.
funny because I only date Jews. My ex-husband was Jewish. My boyfriend now is Jewish. Yeah.
Wow. No, I have to say, if my brother now has a girlfriend, but like I would set you up with him immediately. You're so his type. He would love yeah, like the thing about it is that, so I think that for you, just like in terms of this chart, I think that part of what was going on for you was actually like sort of a test of faith. And you were not given everything that you thought you deserved, or everything you thought you wanted, or whatever, specifically because it was almost like, if you can just hang, like it would be so different if you really like put down the script and then just like ended up going back to school to get like take the bar exam, you're gonna be a lawyer, or something where it would be like, if you had quit, that'd be a problem. But the fact that you're like, no, I actually like am still here, I still want this to happen, this is the dream, it could actually come back around. And now that that's what I'm saying, like, God forbid we had been successful as like the child stars we thought we were, or as the like, you know what I mean? I'm so glad that I was like so upset for a while that like I quit gymnastics too soon to go to the Olympics. It's like, oh my God, I would have been fingered by Larry Nassar. Like, it's like, oh shit, thank God. Like that's right. Comes in where it's like, you know what? I am divinely protected. I am divinely guided. And any idea that like the human, and especially for you coming from that concubine past life history, there are certain ideas that like we can't help it. Like no matter how fucking badass and bougie we are, like we're just programmed with ideas about like what's possible for us or what the timeline of things should be or like how it's gonna go. And especially like Capricorn moons, sometimes we'll have an experience where we're like, I'm the boss, I know what it's gonna be, I'm gonna put together my project plan, I'm gonna execute, and then when it doesn't happen like according to plan, we're like this is fucked up, everyone's fucked up, this like everyone's out to get us, like whatever. And it's like, no. This is where we do have to surrender and go like, okay, I actually am going to like ground myself so deeply into my belief in, you know, if we go back to Lillian days, we talk about Lilith, she was like, I deserve to come, right? Like she's right. And if you're like, I deserve the stage and I want to, you know, whatever you go through, your instincts are right and your instincts are guiding you. And actually you are being, there's so much shit going on that Scott Rudin is a monster? Who fucking knew? He's done, no, his list, I want to like pull up, like he's done every movie that's anything. Like I feel like he did like, I'll pull it up, but it's like, I feel like he's like Jerry Maguire and like, no, maybe that was Zemeckis, but like, it's like, Scott Rudin is like for that to now just be coming out, it's like the world that we wanted to inhabit was actually not the world that we wanted to inhabit. It was actually like a dangerous forest of monsters and pedos and men who thought they were talented. And in fact, they just had money. And it's like, that is so not your scene. That's not my scene. And now that like the world will never be the same, right? Like this is the beginning of a slow and bizarre and necessary evolution out of this like kind of old Piscean age that was very abusive and that did have us all being like very much like slaves within this matrix and slaves to our own mind and slaves to our family and slaves to all these like ideas and thoughts that didn't totally like resonate, but it's like, well, whatever, that's just life, you got to make it work. And it's like, no, fuck that. Like the world is melting before our eyes. And I feel like, you know, as Capricorn moons, like, so there was an eclipse cycle between 2018 and 2020. There were eclipses in Cancer and Capricorn that for every Cancer and Capricorn, which I am both, you're actually both too. You're a Cancer rising. Well, it's like you were basically from 2018 to 2020, you were in like a washing machine. And it was like anything that you tried to do may have felt like you were getting just fucking thwarted from all angles, or you were just getting stopped by like the society or stopped by the like industry or stopped by the powers that be. And you'd be like, why, this is so fucked, should I just quit? And it's like, if you didn't quit yet, it's smooth sailing now because you didn't quit. And now that the world has melted and like, there's going to be this like, especially because it's going to be Lillian in nature. It's going to be a Lilith, the rising, the rebuilding of the Capricorn energy that was really wiped out between 2018 and 2020 is going to be feminine Capricorn energy. And that's very different than masculine Capricorn energy, because masculine Capricorn energy is very much like the system, the government, the rules as far as we've known it, which like low key, to have a healthcare system that doesn't actually like care about people's health, it's not going to work. It's not going to work moving forward. Everybody going to get coronavirus. We need healthcare. Like, it's like that it's so stupid, right? And this idea that there's this like hierarchy of people that you have to like answer to. The future of Capricorn and business is actually the more feminine, sort of like the more feminine approach, which is actually like collaborative. Like, I don't want friends either. No, this is like the only way we were going to talk this entire pandemic, if we either were like working or working. Like, I'm not, like, I don't not work. Either I'm working or I'm fucking, and that's like it, okay? But it's like the new Capricorn is the feminine Capricorn that actually knows that like the community is as strong, or like the government is as strong as the community. And like when we collaborate with each other and when we actually take the time to honor the moon cycle and to do that cyclical work, and nothing's linear. I don't know who these people are. Okay, great. Woody Allen can sit down and write his script in 3 weeks. Okay, well, he's also fingering his daughter. Like, and married his other daughter. It's like, dude, if you're doing things in a completely linear fashion and blocking out everything else, sure, you may be productive, you may get shit done, but you're missing out on all the like glorious details that the journey has to offer and that other people have to offer, and you being out of control has to offer. So that's really where, like, now that there's like this strengthening of this Capricorn energy that's starting again. Mark my words, Biden's gonna croak. Kamala, she'll be president for the next 12 years or whatever it is. She'll be president for the next, yeah, literally. I think she'll finish this term and then she'll have another 2 terms if she runs. I'm not saying that she's even like the answer, but I am saying that this is a divine feminine awakening.
Here.
What'd you say?
You've gone crazy. Biden's dying. Like if Biden dies, jinxed him.
I just think astrologically, it's predictable. He also just looks, he's getting old. He did his part. He got her in. But like, I just think that the feminine leadership piece is one that has been very easily talked about and encouraged, and have confidence, girl power, but it's all fucking bullshit. It's all this corporate stuff that they're just feeding to us to make us think that there's equality or to think that there's like, any kind of care for us, when really they're not going to last. It's not any system that's not actually like rooted in community and rooted in concern and care for each other and rooted in a more relaxed way of doing things. That I'm not saying don't work all the time, but like if you have to put something down and then go get a snack and then work on something else and then pick it back up when you're inspired, so be it. Because maybe the thing that happened between when you put it down and the snack and the person you ran into, you got the divine inspiration, or you ran into just the right person. It's like we have to actually, as women, it's also interesting too, like in terms of just like the God conversation or the spirit conversation, the divine masculine energy is so confused on this planet Earth because we think of masculinity as being this thing where it's like, like I make money, I support, I protect. And then we're so disappointed when they do none of that, right? Actually, the human men on Earth are wounded people. And when we talk about like using the divine masculine energy, we're talking about God. We're talking about that energy that can hold you and cradle you from the other dimension or in the unseen, that gives you the strength to actually do the feminine work of actually making shit and doing shit and providing for the community.
Yeah, it's so funny, the whole idea of a gendered God. And I've done jokes about that where it's like, because my church will pray to, we'll pray to our mother, and conversation with a family member, and they were like, my God is definitely a man, my God has a penis and my God's penis is huge. And it's like, well, my God's vagina is so big that it can't even feel your God's penis. Like, I don't know. And it's a joke that I have.
So funny. I love that.
Engendering a spirit, like the Holy Spirit, is so bizarre to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know because it's like, if we're talking about like honoring all religions and cultures, it's like, I sort of like the idea, like, so the reason I'm even so into this story is because 2 moon ago, so at the Pisces new moon a month ago, there was a really, so I'm really into mythology, and one of the things that I like I could even look in your chart later or whatever, but like I could see what like, so Lilith to me was the one to lead with because it's like the most prominent asteroid in your chart in this way. But there's tons of asteroids that all link back to like ancient mythology and all of these like, like primal storylines from like, ancient Egypt and Sumerian, Babylon, and like all these old stories that have, Atlantis is a huge storyline in astrology, and it's coming back. It's actually like a big rebirth for Atlantis, but like we don't have to go there just yet because like I'm throwing a lot at you. But at the last new moon, there was an incredible conjunction. So the new moon is always where the sun and the moon meet, right? Well, at this new moon, we also had Mercury, and then there was also, I'm pretty sure Venus was also there. And then we had 3 asteroids, Isis, Osiris, and Horus. And Isis and Osiris represent one of the sort of twin flame or one of the divine counterpoint couples in ancient history, okay? So the whole thing with Isis and Osiris, they were married, they were a power couple. Their brother / nemesis tried to kill Osiris. He tricked him into getting into a coffin and going down the Nile. And she was like, not on my watch. I'm going to get him. So she went and she searched all of Egypt to find him and brought him back. Then Set, the brother, was like, no. And he ended up just fucking getting a hold of his brother, chopping up his body into 14 different pieces, dismembering him completely and putting him all around the continent so that, they would never get back together, and he was gone for good. And Isis was like, no. And so she spent years picking up the pieces and finding and searching for his arm, his leg, his ear. She found every part of his body except for his penis, okay? But by the time she gets home with 13 out of 14 of his body parts, I like to think, I said this joke before, it did not work, but I'm going to say it again. I like to think she used an eggplant. Okay. She laid him on the floor and she put the eggplant in his dick part. And, she did all that she could. She couldn't necessarily find all the pieces. He was dead. What are you going to do? But she actually was like just able to lay there on the floor with her lover, with her husband, with her partner. And by some magical, it's interesting because some people, and I actually don't know if I believe this, but some people will say that they actually like lifted the Jesus story from the horror story because, so she was laying with the body parts of her dead husband and an eggplant, and miraculously through their love and through their like higher connection, he reanimates, fucks her with the eggplant, and she gets pregnant. Then he officially passes and he becomes the god of the underworld, but Isis was then carrying this dead guy's baby. So she had a divine conception or whatever. But like the whole story of it was really kind of the parable of it. And then Horus is their son. He's a miracle baby. There's tons of other things too. Then he gets his eyes ripped out, but then he has a higher eye, he has a seeing eye, and then he's sort of like a psychic little prophet. But he also is that kind of like sacrificial divine baby that we kind of like discard until after, and then we're like, oops, he was like one of the greats, right? So but the whole like parable is sort of meant, you could read it a lot of different ways. I guess the way that I read it is that like, the feminine energy, we think of like feminine energy as like stay home and take care of the kids or whatever, and the men go work. No, this story is really showing us that the feminine energy, and we all know this whether we do this in our society, women do everything. The feminine energy, we're the makers, we're the doers. The feminine earth and water are feminine modalities, right? We could actually take them and create. We can make stuff out of, right? The masculine energy is actually like fire and air. It's actually like spirit and transformational and like takes things down and then sort of like provides things, but like by way of air or by way of messages or spirit. So this whole thing was such an incredible story. And I think we had this big healing about a month ago where we actually came to terms with the fact that like we do have everything we need. And within all of us or whatever relationships, we have the ability to make and to do and to put our mind to anything and make it happen. But if and when we can't quite finish the job because the script wasn't meant to get picked up yet, or like you couldn't find the penis. If you just if you just sort of like can be with what you've done and be proud of yourself for what you've done and use whatever you can, use an eggplant, the power of the divine masculine. I'm installing shelves right now, Matt. Yeah, that's right. There you are.
Here's my shelves that I put it in.
But that's exactly it. It's like the masculine energy is really meant to be that like more spiritual, like connected energy where you feel like anything's possible and I am supported and I am loved and I am in this like divine hammock where I actually know that I'm safe, even if it looks like it's about to thunderstorm and I'm outside. But it's like, if you can actually lean back into that trust that even if it doesn't seem right or it's all fucked up or you have your dismembered lover laying next to you trying to fucking just have some tantric sex, just trying to connect him, that even with just an eggplant dick, he can actually come back to life, and miracles are possible when you kind of surrender the need to do everything or prove everything or have proof of, it's like the surrender. So it's not that like it's gendered. And again, like if we're thinking about gendered gods, in the case of like ancient Egypt, there were all there were also gods, like their baby Horus, he had like an eagle head or something. I don't remember exactly. He was like, he had a bird head. So it's like, we're talking about like centaurs and like, so I'm okay with all the stories and all the genders and all the characters, but ultimately I do think that it's like the feminine energy is the creative energy, and I think the masculine energy is that like all loving, supportive energy that can create miracles when you combine the two.
I love that. I've learned so much about myself.
Yeah, I know that you didn't mean to come to like sort of like Jewish mythology, astrology, Bible study, but that's kind of my thing.
Is this the Kabbalah? Isn't that Jewish mysticism, the Kabbalah?
I actually just saved on, IG's like sending like, they like put posts that they think you'll like actually buy. So I actually did scroll past a like beginner Kabbalah course because I was like, maybe I do need to learn Kabbalah, because I actually do think this is Kabbalah, although I don't know anything about it other than like Madonna is a Kabbalist. But I am curious because like, yeah, it is all just about like, yeah, like ancient Jewish mysticism without ever being taught that is kind of, it's funny because like growing up, my parents were like, she's going to be the greatest rabbi of all time. And it's like, I didn't actually become a rabbi, and I did cheat at my bar mitzvah.
Are there female rabbis?
Oh yeah, the Reformed Jews are lawless. Very fun.
I love that.
But it's funny though, because like if you think about what that is, like the Jewish calendar is actually the moon calendar. It's not a solar calendar. So like the moonual, it's like I am a fucking rabbi. That is what I do. I'm just doing it like with sort of like the costume of comedy so that I don't have to stop smoking pot and fucking around, you know? But like, and I'm just
all pointing to the same thing.
It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's just like practicing having faith and enjoying your life in a way that you feel safe to enjoy without putting too much pressure on having to like perfect or do it all right or now or perfectly or prove anything. It's like if you just actually follow the cycle and you check in with yourself and you can access your own divinity, you know, your masculine and your feminine parts and your eagle head parts and your little baby dick eggplant parts, you actually have everything you need to relax into the journey of your life with faith. And that really is like what I'm into. And the other thing that's funny that you'll like is that I got in big trouble at my bar mitzvah because my whole speech, you know, you have to write like you have to like a talk with your Torah portion or whatever. So mine was about how God was a woman and how I had all this proof that God is a woman. And it was basically just like a little feminist like rant that I, you know, at 13, I was like, here's why women are better. And I got in a little bit of trouble because I had done this whole like dramatic act out where I actually recorded my voice as the voice of God and put it in the back of the temple. And they were like, that is strictly prohibited. You will not do that at the show. And I was at the bar mitzvah. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And then I just fucking did it. And I like planted someone in the back with my tape recorder and I like hijacked the temple and did like this really performative, like feminist, like art piece. And I got in big trouble, but I was a fucking smash. That's about as close as off-Broadway as I've been so far. But I truly think for you, you're about to have a faith payoff. And like, so long as you are committed to the work that you're actually committed to, you're gonna make a killing. People's lives can change. If you have one off-Broadway run, I mean, even like look at like Jacqueline Novak. Jacqueline, and her show was fabulous. Did you see it?
Well, she had Natasha. Yeah, she had Natasha Leon and Mike and like what's his face, John Early directing and like Mike Birbiglia. I've been studying with his director since I've been in New York. He's I love him, and my work is like a little more. I was just rewatching some of his stuff because it's like his is so joke heavy, and mine comes from a more. I'm blending two plays. One, are you familiar with Whoopi Goldberg's early work? Which Mike Nichols actually produced on Broadway.
I love Whoopi Goldberg, but if I need to see something, I will watch it tonight.
You should on YouTube watch her early solo shows where she does characters and she does a Valley Girl.
That.
She does like they're amazing. And this is Mike Nichols actually saw her and was like, I'm bringing you to Broadway. They skipped off Broadway. And
dude, I think that's what's I think something's gonna happen with you where I think you're going to skip a lot of steps because you've actually taken all the steps, and it's kind of like, what other steps can I take other than to just like hold steady here and like pray and like that will pay off. And right now Lilith is like firing up your purpose, firing up your Mars. I think the only thing, if I was going to give you homework, I would be like, imagine a world where like this show or something better, like you got like, think about what it would be like to be a fucking stat rich artist who was really here to like inspire people and make them laugh and connect them to God, non-denominational God, but like to actually give people that sense of peace, like that you feel when you watch something funny or you hear someone that inspires you. And I really think that like, yeah, like if you're not going to be a pastor and if I'm not going to be a rabbi, the very least that we can do is like continue to show up on stage because like nobody's telling kids to be pastors or rabbis if they don't got it. Okay. Nobody. But I think that like we have to kind of chalk up any lack of success or any lack of perceived success to be like, because everything is like energetic and vibrational, right? We would never have been successful in Hollywood as it was. not a vibrational match. And you know what? We would have never been successful in the like actual religious, like if we actually pursued that as a career, I bet you there's some weird ass people in the seminary, bro. Like not a cool scene, actually. Not a cool scene. And it's like, you're too pretty and funny and cool to like actually relegate yourself to scenes that you're not actually like fully embraced in and feeling like you can fully be yourself. So I think it's all perfect.
Are we going to let P. Walsh plug his show?
P. Walsh, who are you? What should we invite him on? Do you want to join the live? What do you want from us? What can we do for you?
You have 3 people on a live?
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know who this person is, but we're going to try it. Okay.
DK.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody doing? I'm sorry if I was a little aggressive before with the
It's
comments.
just hard to read and talk Bible, you know?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I'm actually doing a fundraiser show on April 19th at Eastville Comedy Club. Are you from New York City? You familiar with that or?
We do know Eastville. I bounce around.
I know Kate is. I always see her, Joey Badge, very funny comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the show is going to be at 9:30 on Monday, April 19th, Eastville. It's called Girls Night Out, Laughing All the Way to Heaven. All proceeds of the show are going to be donated to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And my aunt's name right now is terminally ill, so that's why you saw the whole little terminally ill comment.
Well, you know, as you know, Kate and I are both divine healers from God. So, and we are funny as shit. So that's huge. I can't speak for Kate's schedule. I will have to double check my schedule, but if I am in town, which I think I will be actually, I would be happy to do a set at the show, and we would be happy to, repost.
Let me see. I actually sent Kate, because I follow you. I send you the DM with the poster. I'm actually lucky enough to have, you know Corinne Fisher?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually headlining. Such a sweetheart. Like, she didn't even get her second vaccine yet and wants to do it just because it's going to a good cause. So, I mean, that's, that just shows that, as comics, we got good hearts, Well, we rather laugh than cry, we turn tragedy into triumph.
We really just want stage time, but also
that was nice. Jesus
are
Christ.
extremely good-hearted. It's a 1-2 punch. It's a 1-2 punch of ego and spirit,
Yeah, left bunny ear, right bunny ear.
Have a great show.
Thank you. And by the way, too, it's P Walsh 0828, so PWALSH 0828, and the name of our production company is called Laugh Pack Productions, which is at LAUGHPACKPROUDUCTIONS.
So productions like the way it's spelled.
Yeah, exactly the way it's spelled. I just had to do my spelling bee stuff. I got the glasses on.
You know what? Flex when you can. You know what I mean? Like, I just haven't went the whole Lilith rant.
Yeah, but no. But not flexing. I'm just promoting. I mean, like, all right, like my aunt.
I'm just saying you're a great speller, is all I'm saying.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll. Yeah. Thank you so much. And can I ask you one question too? Sure. What are those, stickers or?
These are the filters. Filters. So like.
All right. No. All right. Cool. Oh, okay. No idea. All right. I thought you were really wearing bunny ears, and I had no idea what you had on your face, Kate.
I am.
Thank you. I can't look in your eyes, Medusa. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you very much.
Patrick, thank you for joining us. Such a pleasure. And I don't know how to kick you off of this, but
I'll just X out. It's all good. All right.
But really nice to meet you. Kate and I are Capricorn Moon, so really we prefer to have this be also something that gets us booked immediately and that is like considered a work. Like for us to be actually like getting business out of this, we've done our job. So I think.
All right. Well. I have one quick question. I'm a Virgo 9/11. What does that make me?
Well, I actually have a lot of theories about people that were born on 9/11 because that's another conversation for another day. We might have to come back on another.
All right, we'll go back to that.
We can talk after because I don't want to. Who knows? Kate might have big plans. She's got a play to write so that she can blow up and then take me with her.
Exactly.
I'll be her Jewish opener.
Right on.
No, seriously.
Mazel. All right, have a great night. Thank you so much. Have a good one. All right, bye.
Nice to meet you, Pete. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, bye.
But you have to hang up on yourself. We don't know how to kick you out. Okay, Kate, look at us. Look at that Capricorn moon. Wait.
You being like, I'd love for you to book us.
Oh no.
He's like, no, I've got Corinne. He's like, you know Corinne, she's very famous. Guys, we're like, yeah, we're familiar.
He's like, will you promote the show? It's like, yeah, we'll be happy to do the show and promote it. Yeah.
You're so funny.
Capricorn moons, dude. I'm not fucking, no, we're here to fucking get booked, make money, make business. We are talented. He'll be so happy that he accidentally booked us on that live right now.
We can't wait to go.
Let you down. We're going to do an hour each. But you know, so anyway.
Love that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a little distracting, but like, so, you know, we could wrap up. We could go anywhere in the conversation. I want to say that I think for you, this is going to be the year that like straight up redefines how you see yourself in the world and your career. And I think, mark my words, by this time next year, you are going to be like, holy shit, Sarah, I did the show.
Can we talk again this time next year?
What we could talk, no, now that I know that you're all business, we could actually be friends because everything will be a working call and we can fucking figure out how to take over the fucking world. You're super powerful, and I'm telling you, your rising's on my sun and my north node is on your sun. So we actually are like a fucking power pack of Lilith mission, pissed off, here to fuck energy.
The Jewish feminist, the Christian feminist coming to change the world. I mean, you've blown my mind because like I always have identified as a Leo rising, and now I know I'm a Cancer rising, and I'm so mad at co-star, and I feel like I have
take down co-stars. It's not good. It's wrong. It's giving people misinformation.
Okay, well, I have a lot to think about because my identity has changed. My biggest thing now is, okay, so this is like unrelated, but it's like I have this new deadline with this producer, and I'm like kind of frozen. I'm like a little stuck, and I'm like, because I'm combining these two plays that are so different. One's monologues, one stand up. And I'm just like, how do they go together? Like, what do I do? Do I just rip them all apart? Do I just put them together and be like, because I got to do them for this producer. And I'm just like, I don't know. I got to send him a script. And I'm like, I have no idea. How do I make the first one that's not really funny, it's monologues, match the funny one that he saw? Or do I have to?
Okay, well, I have three answers, okay? So answer number one is that between now and the new moon, we're in what's called the dark moon phase, okay? This is a very bad time for trying to like figure anything out because we're in the dark, right? The moon is illuminating, but this is a full-on like reset of energy. So what I would do is, first of all, before Sunday night, I would make a list. I would write down everything that you think is a problem about putting these two things together. So like, yes. I don't know what goes where. I don't think I know what the right order is. I think he saw something funny, so he's not going to think that something more serious is interesting. I'm afraid that I sold it. Any thought that's in your mind that's like a judgment or like, because no one's ever frozen because they're frozen. And if that's the case, then on some level, divinely, you need to pause. But I think when we're feeling that feeling of like, no, I'm fucking frozen. What'd you say?
Oh, screenplay. Well, a comedian said you got this, and film
it. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we do. She do got this, okay? But it's like, okay, so I would, before Sunday, like, so tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, burn the paper outside. Burn it. Make a conscious effort to just say, okay, these are actually no longer the issues that I'm facing.
Write down my problems and Saturday burn it.
Write down every single judgment. And you know what? For your sake, write down all the shit too, which is like, I'm too old to be 27. I'm too old to be a famous comedian. I'm too old to be, a movie star or whatever. Hollywood's all pedos. I don't know if it's my scene. Anything that's in the space where you're like, this just feels like it's in my way or there's a chip on my shoulder, whatever. So burn that paper Saturday night. Okay. Thing number two, get a mason jar and put some like herbs, put like a flower, maybe throw some crystals in, and then write down on the paper just the question. And you could talk to Jesus, you could talk to God, you could talk to universe, you could talk to whatever. You could say, let me know, what the order of the play is. Like, please let it become clear. And then roll it up like it's a turkey roll up, put it right under your bed near your pillow, and kind of just know that like that like that's your way of kind of like directly connecting to spirit, and like you're going to figure it out in your dream state. While the moon is in Pisces, it's a great time to kind of like let the unconscious kind of come in. If you ever were going to do morning pages, the days that you have the water next to your bed are great for morning pages, not to remember anything, but just to get out, like just to like clear the vessel. Then come Sunday on the new moon. I'm going to say my hypothesis is by the end of the moon Yule, there will be some really clarifying shit. And also, I think the moon Yule will be helpful to you too, only because it's a show that weaves, like we go from serious to not serious, like really fucking fast. That's like, I mean, look, it's
I have a temple before.
Oh yeah, you get it. So it's like, you might get some like divine inspiration, or you might be like, oh wow, I just got it, right? So the new moon is really when we're going to start making those new plans. So until like Monday morning, what'd you say?
It's Sunday, right?
Yeah. So Sunday's the moon Yule. Monday morning, when you wake up and you sit down to work, I would bet you if you do these little witch tricks up until then, the answer will become clear. Like you'll just be like, you know what? I know how it goes. Like that is how it goes. Second of all, what I want to say is, if you want, like, I'm not interested in friends, I'm not interested in anything, but I am here to work. If you want, that's like what I do with people. I coach people all day, every day on like creative development and like whatever. If you want to send me the things to read, I'll just talk it out with you anytime, or we could just like jam on it, because I love this shit. So that's just like just as your not friend, but as a fellow workaholic who like likes theater, I'm open to just like, I'm happy to just like jam it out with you and talk about it, because I love this shit. And as a coach, it's good for me because I can hear some of the things that you're saying and going, well, I think this seems like a problem, or this seems wonky, and I'll go, is that really what you think, or is it actually, you know, it's like, what's the real thing that you're afraid of?
Saturday, I write down all my problems and I burn it. And then the water I just put next to my bed with the herbs and the crystals.
So do that tonight. Just make a little note, like, I surrender figuring out how these two things go together. Universe, like, show me the way, and write something that you really feel is, and then you know what else I would do on the bottom of that paper? I would also do the little exercise I gave you earlier, and I would be like, when this play comes together in whatever way it does, I know that it will be like the thing that actually like changes my life and that sets my career on a whole new path. So I don't think there's any rush. Like the deadline schmedline, it'll be done by the deadline. You're a Capricorn moon, but like, don't like push, don't like, that's so like old Capricorn, like linear masculine, have it done in advance and have it be perfect. Can't do it. Surrender. Right. So put the question for the universe on the paper, and then write also beneath it, like, and thank you so much, because I know that the outcome of this work or something better will be like, you know, a $250,000 salary to do this play across the globe, like whatever your best case scenario would be, to get picked up for a movie right away. Bigley is going to direct it, like whatever the best case scenario is. And then write, or something better, you know, you don't want to be too attached, but then roll it up like a turkey roll up, put it in water that then you infuse with like crystals and like rosemary and thyme and a flower from the park and all the things that you just think are like magical. Anything you think is magical. You might think cinnamon's magical, throw some cinnamon in, okay? Play, it's all play. Roll it up, put it next to your bed, and then just like, you know, if you have it in, you do morning pages. And then on Monday morning, when you sit down to like, just think about it again, like don't even think about it until Monday morning. Monday morning, you're going to know.
Saturday, I burn. Sunday, I put the question in the paper.
I might put the question in the paper like tonight. Like I might let your mind like work on it.
So then there's just going to be paper sitting in this like holy-ish water.
Under your bed, right by your head.
Right by my head. This is so exciting. I'm so excited to have little homework, these tasks.
Yeah, man. I mean, Capricorn moons, we like to know that we're being productive, even if it's with shit.
I'm going to get to work.
I'm really excited for you. I cannot wait to see what happens. And yeah, if you ever do just like want another opinion, I believe in you. I think you're talented as fuck, and send me everything. I love it. All I do is work.
It's been so freaking amazing. I'm so grateful for this. And the filters are fun.
I just want to say, Patrick, we would be happy to promote your show if we're also both doing long sets. Thank you.
We can't wait to do our hour special. Yeah, I'll try.
Hour for St. Jude's.
Okay, is that it? Is that a wrap?
I think so, yeah. I mean, do you have any other questions?
No, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Yay! Okay, cool. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody come Sunday. There's a link in the bio. It's going to be so fun. We have a twerk shop. Marina's going to teach us how to twerk. We have original music. We have comedians left and right. It's going to be so fucking fun. Link is in the bio. It's free, or you can donate. This is sort of a community service. We would love a little bit of a donation, but please, whatever you're comfortable with. But yeah, hit the link in the bio and join us, and you'll see Kate, and you'll see Usama, and you'll see my friend June, and you will get channeled messages. Everybody gets readings. It's super fucking fun. So join us on Sunday at the Moonual. It's also Kate's birthday Moonual, and her birthday's coming right up. And let's all put a little prayer out for Kate, because we know that starting Monday, she's going to be entering in a whole new creative zone that actually leads to her big fucking break where she can be fat, rich, and purposeful. Beautiful shit, you guys. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.